Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury for this deep
Oh
dive.
yeah, Bradbury.
It's a classic, right?
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how he takes these huge questions and makes them into these really human stories.
He does. It's like he's taking these big ideas and then showing you what they would actually mean for people. Like in the third expedition where they land on Mars and there's this town.
Oh yeah, dude, that messes with your head.
Right. It's like this perfect little town, just like the ones they remember from Earth. But it turns out it's all a trick, right?
Yeah, it's like how much of what we see is just what we want to see,
Yeah.
what's real.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so creepy. And, the Martians, they're telepathic, so it adds this whole other layer to it. It's not just different languages they're speaking, it's like a different way of thinking entirely.
It's like they're coming at each other with totally different playbooks. Humans show up with their tech, thinking they're so advanced, but the Martians are reading their minds.
It's wild. And that's where all these misunderstandings come from, right? Like the story of Yella. She's got these dreams about the astronauts.
Oh, Manila. It's like a soap opera, but in space.
Totally. You feel for her stuck in this marriage, and then she has these vivid dreams about this astronaut, and it's all because she's picking up on their thoughts from light years away.
Yeah, and she never even gets to meet the guy. It's tragic.
It is. It's like this reminder that we're all looking for a connection, but it also shows how Bradbury takes these huge sci-fi ideas and makes them really personal.
He does. Like, he takes those grand ideas and brings them down to Earth.
Yeah.
Which I guess is funny since this is up Mars.
Laughter.
But you're right. It's all about how we bring our own baggage with us.
Exactly. And that's where we see the whole colonization thing play out. It's like he's saying, hey, look what happens.
It's so true. Like, even with good intentions, things can get messed up.
Like with Benjamin Driscoll, trying to make Mars green.
Yeah, talk about good intentions. But it's also kind of sad, right? Like, we can't help but try to make everything familiar.
It's such a human thing to do. Like, oh, this planet's cool, but you know what it needs? Trees. From Earth. That'll help.
And then it's just this flood of people, right? Like somebody yelled, fire sale on Mars.
And everyone loses their minds. It's like, are we going to repeat the same mistakes all over again? On a new planet.
It makes you think, man. It makes you think. It's like we're hardwired to, like, colonize, Even when we're running away from something, we end up doing the same thing somewhere else.
It makes you wonder if it's not the place that's the problem, but us.
Oh, for sure. Like, are we just bad at this whole being alive thing?
Laughter?
Yeah.
Maybe. But, Bradbury captures that feeling of displacement really well, like in the off-season with Sam Parkhill and his hot dog stand.
Oh, man, Sam. Talk about a buzzkill. Shows up with his hot dogs and everyone's like, nah, we're good.
It's like he brought a picnic to a funeral. But it's that reminder, right? The Martians are gone, but they're not really gone. Their presence is still there.
It's like that feeling you get when you walk into an empty house,
Yeah.
You can still feel the people who used to live there.
Exactly. And that's what makes those stories so haunting. Like in And the Moon Be Still As Bright, you've got Spender trying to preserve the Martian culture, and the other guys are just trashing the place.
It's like they're on spring break, but on Mars. No respect for the history,
And Spender sees it, the tragedy of it all. He's like, dude, you're standing on a graveyard. But they don't get it.
They're too busy taking selfies with the Martian ruins, right?
Hey,
It's that whole human thing again, missing the bigger picture.
Totally. And then you got the Watchers. Just the title alone is creepy. This whole town abandoned, and you've got Walter Grip wandering around looking for someone, anyone.
It's like he's the last man on Earth, but on Mars. Talk about lonely.
And that loneliness, it can really mess you up, like with the Lafarges and their son.
Oh, man, that story destroys me every time. They think they found their dead son, but
It's not right, is it?
no. It's like this creepy copy. And you can see how much they want it to be true, but deep down, they know something's off.
It's like they're clinging to a ghost. And it's that clinging, that desperation, that ultimately destroys them.
It's heavy stuff, man. It's like Bradbury saying, even on a new planet, you can't escape your past. It's like your past is right there in the rear-view mirror, man. No matter how fast you go, it's always there.
Haunting you. And in the Martian Chronicles, it's not just personal baggage, right? It's the whole weight of humanity's mistakes.
Yeah, like, are we destined to blow it all up again? Which brings us to the end. The million-year picnic. Man, what an ending.
Talk about an emotional gut punch. You've got this family escaping Earth, and they decide to really make Mars their home. Like, no going back. They blow up their rocket.
That's commitment, man. But it's also kind of scary, right? They're totally alone.
And surrounded by ghosts. The ruins of Martian civilization are everywhere. It's like
Right.
they're starting over in a graveyard.
Heavy stuff. But there's hope too, right? The father tells his kids to forget everything they learned on Earth. Like, it's a clean slate.
It's like he's saying, look, we screwed it up back there, but here on Mars, we have a chance to do things differently.
And then that line when he shows them their reflection and says, "Those are the Martians?" Chills, man.
It's like, whoa, they are the Martians now. They're the ones writing the story. It gives me chills every time I read it.
Me too. Bradbury, man, he just nails it every time. So what do you think? Are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? Or can we learn from them and build a better future?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I think the Martian Chronicles reminds us that the answer is up to us. It's about choices, about responsibility.
So for everyone listening, what choices are you making? What kind of future are you building? Let us know your thoughts. We'll be diving into more thought-provoking stuff soon. But until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and as always, thanks for listening.